Let's just get this out of the way. You should forget everything you think you know about writing a book. Seriously, the old rules are completely broken. The big counterintuitive idea we're diving into today is this: you don't write a book to find an audience. You find your audience, and with them, you talk your book into existence. So let's kick things off with a question that should honestly keep every author, every creator up at night. Why is it that so many brilliant books, books filled with truly world-changing ideas, just land with a deafening thud? Why do they fail to connect? And the answer? Well, it's almost insultingly simple, and it's a total indictment of the way things have always been done. They failed because they were written in a vacuum, cooked up in silence, perfected in total isolation, and then bam, revealed to the world when it's already way, way too late. So this gets us to what I call the old way. It's a process that's built on this romantic, but let's be real, fatally flawed myth. The myth of the solitary genius, the author toiling away for years in quiet brilliance. Think about it. This old way is just a massive, high-stakes gamble. You spend years working alone. Your big ideas are never actually put under pressure, never stress-tested in the real world. Any feedback you get is usually from an editor, and by then it's too late to make any real changes. Your audience? They're a total afterthought. So launch day becomes a complete and utter roll of the dice. But what if I told you there's a better way? A way that's more resilient, way more effective, and frankly, a lot more honest when it comes to bringing an idea into the world. It's a new manifesto, and it's dead simple. Talk your book into existence. This right here, this is the foundational command of the whole new approach. Stop writing in secret. Stop hiding your best ideas away. The era of the silent, solitary author is over. It's time to get on stage and start talking. Now, this means we have to completely flip our thinking about what public speaking is for. It is not a marketing activity that you do after the book is finally written. No, it is the engine of creation itself. It is the forge where your ideas are actually shaped, hardened, and made real. All right, so how does this actually work in practice? Well, it all rests on three core pillars. The first one is all about using the stage to forge your ideas out in the open, in public, making them stronger, clearer, and 100 times more resilient long before they ever hit a single page. We call this the cognitive forge, and this is huge. See, the simple act of having to stand up in front of a live audience and explain your idea out loud, it forces a kind of clarity that just writing by yourself can never, ever achieve. You can't hide behind flowery language. Your logic has to hold up in a real time, right there in front of everyone. And you don't just jump on any stage. You do this strategically, by climbing what's called the content ladder. Each rung of this ladder de-risks your book. You start with a big keynote to test your core thesis, like, does the big idea even land with people? Then you get on a panel to test your arguments against smart people who disagree. Finally, you run a workshop to test if your methods are actually useful. Does this stuff actually work for people? See? At every single stage, you're making the final book better and better. This whole process forces you into this amazing creative box. And inside that box is the rule of three. You have to be clear on stage. You can't just ramble on. And cognitive science tells us that the human brain is just wired to remember things in groups of three. So by building your talks around three core ideas, you're not just making a better speech. You're distilling your entire book down to its most powerful, memorable, and essential message. Okay, so forging your ideas in public, that's huge. But it's only half the battle. While you're up on that stage, you're doing something else that's just as critical. And that brings us to pillar 2. You are building your audience before the book even exists. Just look at the difference here. This is the difference between launching to absolute silence, to crickets, and launching to a community that's been waiting for you. The old way, you just cross your fingers and hope for word of mouth. The new way, you launch into a pre-built ecosystem of trust with a mailing list ready to go. You are primed for massive momentum from day one. That podium, that stage, it's not just a stage anymore. It becomes your platform building machine. Every single time you speak, you're not just testing ideas, you're turning listeners into followers. You are becoming a thought leader, the living, breathing ambassador for your ideas, long before anyone calls you an author. So you've got a battle-tested idea. You've got an audience waiting for it, but that's still not enough. This brings us to the final and maybe the most important pillar. You have to master your influence. Because how you communicate your ideas on stage is a direct rehearsal for how they're going to land on the page. And to do that, we're going to pull from some ancient battle-tested tools, the 4 pillars of rhetoric.
First, you've got ethos. That's your credibility. Why should anyone listen to you? Then there's logos, the logical strength of your case. Does it actually make sense? Then comes pathos, the emotional connection. Does it make them feel something? And finally, kairos, the art of timing. Why does this matter right now? The stage is the ultimate training ground for getting all four of these right. Let's just take ethos for a second, your credibility. It's not just one thing. It's a blend of your reputation, sure, but also your personality, your style, your subject knowledge, and your unique viewpoint. Speaking in public is really the only way you can build all five of those facets at the same time, creating this powerful, unshakable foundation of trust.
So, how do you really, truly demonstrate that mastery? Simple. You speak without a script. It's a power move. It signals to everyone in the room that this knowledge lives inside of you, not on some piece of paper. It's a public performance of true command, and audiences instinctively trust it. And this mastery has to extend all the way to the Q&A. Most people see Q&A as reactive, something they have to defend themselves against. That's a huge mistake. You stop being reactive and you become strategic. You don't just answer the question someone asks. You reframe it to reinforce your core message. You answer the question that should have been asked, turning every single query into another chance to build your authority. So, I'll leave you with this question. The old myth tells you that your desk is a sanctuary, this special place where genius is born. But what if it's not? What if it's actually a cage, isolating your very best ideas from the world they're supposed to change? My advice? Unlock the cage, get on a stage, and start talking.